Just a bit of comic book news that's been happening right now. Again, still have my my wrist bandaged up. Bandaged is just not the right word. Not the right word. They're sort of in pseudo casts. Can't be moved. But still making videos. Editing is significantly more difficult than I thought it would be. That's why I'm trying to do just one takes. That's really what I'm trying to do at this point. So if I muck up, I'm probably just going to leave it in. But last weekend was D23, and there were some things which I was good with, some things I was a bit dubious about. But something which sort of went under the radar for me, I didn't really talk about it all, was the Eternals. Now, the Eternals is not something I'm super privy with. I'm not super aware of it. Or that, well, none of them are really my favourite characters. You know, none of them at all. They're very niche. They're like D-list Marvel heroes. You know, there's like Spider-Man and Hulk are like A-list Marvel heroes, I'd say, for the general zeitgeist before the MCU was a thing. Then there was B-list, which was like Thor, Captain America, maybe Daredevil, Iron Man, maybe. Then you have C-list, that's like Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Black Panther. And then you have like D-list or E-list, which is what the Eternals are. So I was surprised that they were actually going to try and make a film out of this, considering what we saw the Eternals as in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one at least. So I was surprised they were going to actually try and push forward with the cosmic universe in that regard. And the cast I actually like quite a lot. I mean, it's got Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Salma Hayek, some other people. It's got the uncle from bloody Train to Busan, so I'm excited to see it solely because of him. Really, no one else in the cast has drawn me that much, but he specifically, I'll see whatever that guy does now. And they just announced that Gemma Chan is in the film as well. Now, I know, because I'm aware of these things, and most people probably don't pay that much attention to it, but Gemma Chan is already in the MCU. She was in Captain Marvel. She played one of the Kree. She's obviously not playing a Kree now because she's playing Cersei. Now, do I think she'll play a good Cersei? I think she could play a good Cersei. It's believable. I just don't think it's a good idea to just cast someone in another role in the MCU unless it's like just a voice role. It sort of feels like there's so many other people out there who haven't had a chance to be in a superhero film, and you've just given her like 2 shots in 2 years. It's sort of like you could have given it to another. If you wanted to cast an East Asian actress, you could have just given it to someone else. But if she was the best for the job, then I understand it. At the same time, you shouldn't have cast her as, I think her name was Minerva. Maybe I'm wrong. That could be completely wrong. It wasn't a very memorable film, Captain Marvel. So I think potentially it's not a good idea to just recast people within the MCU. Like, if it's from another Marvel film, it's from another universe, then fine. Like, if they cast Andrew Garfield in the MCU, I'd be relatively okay with it. Or if they cast Emma Stone in the MCU, I'd be fine with it, because those films were not part of the MCU. But by just recasting within it, it destroys the continuity that Marvel have really worked so hard to build. So I'm not a fan of that. Also, something I don't really get at all, which is Kit Harington. I think he's fine. He's probably one of the better actors out of the Game of Thrones cast that I've seen when he's not in Game of Thrones. If you don't know, I don't watch Game of Thrones, never did. Watched a couple scenes, just a bit too bloody for me. Watched someone get their eyes, destroyed with someone's fingers. It was nasty. Put me off the show, it really did. But he's probably one of the better actors out of the younger group. I mean, I think Sophie Turner is not that great. I don't think Maisie Williams is that good. I think Emilia Clarke is okay. And I think Kit Harington is actually decent. But he's been cast as the Black Knight. Now, he's a character I'm more aware of than the Eternals overall. I mean, he's a English character overall. It's to do with, Excalibur and that type of jazz. I think he can play the role as well, just like I think Gemma Chan can play Cersei, but I don't see why the Black Knight is in the Eternals. Like, he is not in that area of the MCU as far as I'm aware. In terms of the comic books, he's nowhere near there. So I don't get why he's just sort of been plonked into this film sort of out of nowhere. Because you could have made a Black Knight film, and with Kit Harington, maybe it would have been successful, you know? But by just sticking him in the Eternals, I don't know how it flows together properly here. Because eventually we can have a Captain Britain, and you can bring in all these characters like the Black Knight. You know, there's a lot of stuff to do potentially there. In one way or another, you know, if Marvel ever does go down that route. But you're sort of shooting your load with that by putting the Black Knight in the Eternals, where he doesn't really fit. Don't really get it. Overall, I think the cast is actually pretty decent for this film. I'm not super excited for it. I'm not, you know, I'm not shouting from the rooftops being like, I want this film right now. I mean, I'd prefer to watch this than a Miss Marvel TV show. Yeah, I'd prefer that. I think most people would probably agree with me there. But it's going to happen. It's happening next year. I don't know when they thought about putting this film onto the big screen. But it must have been like at least 4 or 5 years ago, because the production, the background stuff, all the pre-production that goes into these things, it's not like they just randomly thought, we'll make this film a year and a half ago. They must have had this thing planned for like half a decade, and it had the script written for a good couple of years and been fine-tuning it. That's just the way Marvel does it. So they've been sitting on this for a long time, just like they have with all the stuff they've announced. I mean, they announced Black Panther 2 as well, D23, so I don't know. I don't think it was in Phase 4 Black Panther 2. Was it? I can't remember now. Maybe it was Phase 5. I'm a bit unaware. I'm a bit dead. I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'm a bit perplexed with the ending, how it just went from 0 to 100 so quick. But yeah. So, as I said before, D23 and Comic-Con, there was good things, there was bad things. I think the MCU we've had a golden age of comic book films. I think we've seen it. We really have. And I'm just glad that we as a collective got to actually witness that. And now we get to see the downfall, potentially. Or DC could actually start making good films as well. You know, they've had a good couple of films. Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, all pretty good, to me at least. So yeah, maybe we'll have a good swing at these films come the future. And hopefully Marvel won't muck up all the world building they've done over the past 11 years. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. That really did hurt, that one. That really did hurt. If you didn't, then the Black Knight himself will come after you. I sure hope I can find an image of him, which is a plain background. Otherwise, I'm scupping. He'll come after you. You don't want that. You already know. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been Narendra of the Comic. You have been great. I'll see you next time. Skadoosh. That means I'll be there tomorrow, just so you know. I'll see you tomorrow. Skadoosh.